Hello. Do you wonder if you can fertilize when it's hot? And I know we talked a little bit about this last week, but we're going to go into more in depth because we're supposed to get some very hot weather.
Yeah, and we're not used to that in northern Wisconsin. Hot is anything over 70 degrees according to all the old timers. So we definitely have a heat stretch coming up here, and it looks like it's nationwide. So yeah, that's what we want to get into because so many people are they think they have to just pause their life and not feed their plants and flowers.
That's because they want to stay inside where it's cool.
Yeah, that's fine, but your plants got to stay outside. So that's the question that we get all the time is, can I still feed? Because I think there's this, I don't know, I'd call it like a misnomer that you can't fertilize when it's hot out. Stop. If that were the case, our greenhouses are hot. So if the sun is out, it's 120 degrees in our greenhouses. Our back greenhouses, 130 plus. So by that definition, we would never be able to fertilize, growing 500,000 plants and flowers. So can
The
you
short
fertilizer?
answer is yes.
Yes, you can. Just you need to be a little more careful with it. So we're gonna
what
give you a
does
few
that
tips.
careful really mean?
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
So being careful means there's going to be a few steps. Okay, so.
And you're talking in this extreme heat.
Yeah. This is not I get it that it's hot in certain places of the country, but we still, our greenhouses are still way hotter than Texas or Florida. Again, is your backyard 120 plus degrees? Is your backyard 130 degrees? Probably not. So what do we need to do? Well, the first thing is fertilizing earlier in the morning. So if you're coming to that Fertilizer Friday and you need to fertilize, then go to earlier in the morning if you can. That first thing in the day, so you're not fertilizing during the peak hot part of the day, and
when that plant is so thirsty.
And that's when you have to water anyway. So do not just let your flowers go through, say, 90 plus degrees, 100 degrees, and you haven't watered them until you get home at night. That's a big no-no. Those flowers are going to be dead because they need to have that moisture when they need it, not after the fact. So we're going to...
Yeah, because it just really stresses them
Oh,
out.
yeah, you can't I always water when I get home from work. Don't do that, especially in the heat, because that's a whole different problem. But talking about the fertilizer, we're going to fertilize earlier in the morning if we can, because that's going to be the best time of the day that we can. Again, these are all going to be
Best case
scenarios. Obviously, there's some people that are like, hey, I'm a nurse and I work, I start my shift at 3 a.m. or whatever. That you have to work what that can for you, for your lifestyle. So we're talking best case scenario. So if you can, water, fertilize in the morning.
And instead of watering it like giving it a huge drink and trying to go the entire day with it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to water multiple times.
You may, especially in the extreme heat.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say you're going to have to. I have to water several times, and I'm used to that. But
so you might be watering in the morning and then again at nighttime.
Yes, yeah, probably.
So with the fertilizer, best in the morning, but that's full strength. But if they want to do it on a constant feed, I'm gonna lower dose.
I'm gonna make the case for going to a constant feed, and that's what we do for our flowers. All our flowers that are outside, we have a huge display of flowers, and we go to a constant feed throughout the summer. That to me works best, is that every time they're being watered, which is probably every day, they're getting fed. So what is a constant feed? Constant feed is a lower dose, so we're going to define that as a 1/3 to 1/2 strength dose, but they're getting fed every single time that I'm watering. And I'm making that case for you so that you don't have to worry about the fertilizer burning anything. I think that'll put your mind at ease. So going to a lower dose, but that constant feed that they're getting the nutrients every time that you water, the plants really perform awesome.
And why would that be beneficial with the heat?
They don't have that surge. So if they have that surge of fertilizer, that's where you could have fertilizer burn. Now, has that ever happened to me? No, it's not. and we're growing.
We really
Yeah.
formulated it on the lower side of.
If you stay within those,
Right.
like don't be okay. One scoop is good. I'll make it really strong. Don't do that. Yeah, ours is very concentrated, so you could if you went outside of the directions. But yeah, I don't want to scare you that you could burn the plants with fertilizer, because I've never done it before. And that's fertilizing 500,000 plants every single year in the heat. I've never burned them. So if you stay within the parameters, you're fine. But the case for going to a constant feed, it's just better for your flowers, and it's easier to remember. They're getting fed. You don't have to remember that Fertilizer Friday. They're just getting fed every single time, but at a lower dose.
And that really works better when you have like a hose end sprayer
Yeah,
or
yes.
a fertilizer injector. Because if you're just mixing it up every time and watering with your watering jugs,
You could, yeah.
that kind of gets to be a pain in the butt.
And that's why we talk about going to a hose end sprayer. Man, that makes life easier. If you want it even easier than that, go to a fertilizer injector, which really is not that expensive nor hard to do. It's actually very easy.
And there's a lot of those on our YouTube channel, the Sharky's
Yes.
Greenhouse.
Yeah, we have videos
So
on
there's
them.
videos on that and which ones to look for too.
Yeah. So another tip is water before you fertilize.
Whoa, wait.
Okay, I knew this.
You've been telling everybody
Yeah.
that it doesn't make a difference. You should just fertilize as you water, and it's just a one and done type deal.
Yes. I'm gonna put a little asterisk there.
Okay.
Okay. In the extreme heat. Okay. So in that extreme.
We are talking about the extreme heat.
Yes. So 99% of the time, maybe 90% of the time, don't worry about it. Yeah, you just go ahead and fertilize when you're watering. In the extreme heat, you could go through and water first. You don't have to totally saturate, but you can go ahead and add clear water, and then go and add fertilized water to that plant.
Right.
Just so that, again, you're not surging that plant, especially if it's dry. If it's dry,
So
it's going
really,
to start sucking up right
worried-
away.
You're more so concerning the stress of the plant.
Yeah, the stress of the plant, and it's surging, it's sucking that moisture up right away.
I know you're gonna die laughing, but I kind of think of it like if you take a bunch of vitamins, like just a ton of them, you might get a little bellyache.
Yeah. I don't feel so good.
Yeah, it's not that, right? Is that kind of what you're referring to?
Okay, sure.
It does. Like, if they're really dry and they're just trying to absorb all of that nutrients.
Yeah, we don't want that huge surge. like your plant's just like juicing. But we're trying to not do that. So there's a few things that you can do. Again, these are the kind of the extraordinary circumstances. That we're not surging dry soil with supercharged fertilizer water. So that's why you could go through and water first, and then you can feed once that's gotten a little time to saturate in. Or the easier thing to do is just go to a constant feed where that dose is lower. And again, everything that I have is on a constant feed all throughout the summer. And that really, really works nice.
Because you don't want to think about it.
I don't want to think about it. They're getting fed every single time that I'm watering, and they just perform. They always have those nutrients, and they look fantastic.
So remember to hydrate your plants. Yes, you can fertilize them, and stay cool yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be really hot this week.
Mm-hmm. All right. So speaking of our Beat Your Neighbor fertilizer, we want to highlight one of our retailers, and that is Property Works Home and Garden in Adams, Wisconsin. So you can find our Beat Your Neighbor fertilizer there.
And you can find more fertilizer. You can find more fertilizer online also. But you can find more retailers of our fertilizer on the beatyourneighbor.com. And you can just go to the retailer locator button, press that, see who's in your local area. Please support those local businesses. That's your first thing I'd like you to do is, 1, hit that follow and subscribe button.
Yes.
And 2, is check out the retailer locator, see who's around you. And if you can't, then we can ship it to you in 48 states.
All right. And you can also share these videos. Did you know
Yeah.
that? Just hit that little arrow and it shares it with your friends. We would love for you to do that. So share these videos with your friends. All right. So
On
thanks,
that.
thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.
Bye.